Cool.
Harrison, do you mind giving the intro for the podcast?
I would love to. Is privacy dead, and is there anything we can do about it?
I'll listen more on the Halfassed Approach podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Half-Assed Approach podcast. My name is Quint.
I'm Harry. So basically, we're going to be trying to answer the question, is privacy dead? And is there anything we can really do about it? Quint, what are your thoughts, you think?
Well, yes. Yeah, it's dead. I don't know.
That's depressing.
Well, I lay it as it is. I'm reminded of my dad who, he's not into social media at all. He's probably the guy who's got the least amount of online presence, period, that I'm aware of, at least. He grew up, was born in 58, so he's grown up in the 60s during, like, the height of the Cold War and stuff. I'm not exactly sure why, I guess because I didn't live in the time, but, you know, like, the whole, like, government watching you sort of thing, like, was a big deal. It kind of became, like, people didn't want the government watching you or whatever, and it was any little thing, like, you know, they wiretap your phone or something like that. That was like a big deal. Of course, I'm also reminded of George Orwell's 1984. The whole term "Big Brother." That's where that's the book that term comes from, where Big Brother is watching. And my dad definitely uses that term a lot. Of course, nowadays it's not. I mean, I guess technically the government is spying, but it's not actually the government who's doing the spying. It's social media. We're talking Google, YouTube, Facebook, etc. Those are probably the biggest ones right there, though. And the funny thing is they're not doing it illegally. Because we willingly post stuff like multiple times a day.
Well, it even goes further than that. Whenever we go to a website now, or use any app or anything, we have to check the stupid little box that says, I agree to all the terms and conditions. I mean, you could probably count on one hand how many people wrote or have read those terms and conditions. And most of those people that have read them are the people that wrote them. So, and the companies do that on purpose. They make it into a bunch of legalese so that you don't understand what you're signing and you don't, ultimately, is that still our fault? Yeah, kinda, because we don't take the time to understand what we're signing, but
yeah, all you want to do is just post a picture of your kid or something. Who wants to go through, literally, it could be hours of fine print reading, and good luck, even if you do read through it all, do you really understand it all? And of course, I'm willing to bet there is a little clause in there somewhere, or in so many words, they state, you agree not only to the current terms and conditions, but to any future revisions thereof or whatever. So basically, pretty much means like at the end of the new year begins, they revise the terms and conditions. Like you just, already agreed to agree to those. Or it's to keep using Facebook or whatever, you have to agree to these new terms and conditions. So it's like every now and then you're going to see like that same thing again where you have to check the checkbox again. Facebook was a bad example because I've never actually seen that on Facebook, but so I kind of think Facebook's the one that's like...
I saw it on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, recently in Europe they ruled, if I'm remembering right, they ruled that there was some kind of European court ruling about privacy and what they can and can't collect from you, and so they had to update their terms and conditions, and they just did it worldwide. What's another interesting thing about Europe, though, is that you actually have a right to be forgotten. What that means is that there you can go to these companies and say, hey, I want you to get rid of all the info you have about me. And they have to do it. They also have to give you, I want all the information that you have about me.
I've actually noticed that on many websites now. There is, if you go into like your account settings or something, there is a like download profile data or something, and I guess I actually haven't tried it. I might actually try it after this podcast now because I'm kind of curious now.
What kind of websites? Because I
Facebook for sure.
Really?
I think YouTube does the same. I'm not sure, and I don't. Yeah, there's either maybe Facebook or YouTube, maybe both, where I've seen that. I'm kind of curious to see what information exactly am I able to download through that feature. It's actually kind of a new thing. So anyway, I also kind of wonder too, because that you say that you have a right to be forgotten, and I guess this at the moment is only in Europe, but
Do you think that's something we should extend to America?
Yeah, I think that should be everybody's right. That's yeah, I would definitely be for that. If that was like a proposition to vote for or something, I would vote for that ability to be able to go request to a company or something, be like, hey, forget everything about me. I kind of wonder though, what information does that entail? I mean, pick a web browser. Almost any web browser, it collects analytics on you.
Yeah, that's how they make money.
Exactly. Yeah, like if that's how it's free, that's why it's free. That's why Facebook is free. It's not necessarily like you're paying a subscription for a service or anything. It's you're willingly uploading all your info and all your crap about yourself.
Yeah.
All your interests and hobbies and whatever, and you're just putting it out there for basically everybody to see. But it also you're giving it to Facebook or whatever company. It's easy just to say Facebook because come on, it's like the biggest one.
Because Facebook has turned into the whipping boy for this.
Facebook, YouTube, yeah. But
I'm sorry, I have to move this. Okay, sorry.
You got a problem with my beer mug there?
Hold my beer, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's why things are free is because you upload your own info and then also they can track what you do and are able to like extrapolate what you're interested in stuff and be able to sell that demographics basically or analytics to other companies that want to sell you stuff. I think it's almost ridiculous because I'll shop for, let's say, okay, damn it, where'd it go? So I recently shopped for this little piece of technology. This is a network adapter for a PlayStation 2. It's a third-party one. Basically, I bought it so I can attach a hard drive to the PlayStation 2, and eventually I'm going to try and soft mod it. But anyway, so I remember the day I shopped for this. I was looking around for one, and I bought one, and then I'm like, okay. And then after that, I logged into Facebook, and I was just checking my feed, and of course there was, I'm not joking, the literal link to this exact thing, the one I just visited, like in the ad banner next to it, and it's just like. So that was my browser at work, tracking what I looked at and what I was doing and realized, oh, I was shopping for this or I was looking at this. Let's advertise these things. And, because obviously I'm interested in that. I'm much more likely to click on that link. It's just dumb because it was the exact link that I was just at, that I just bought. And it's just like, be useful at least. Jeez.
And there have been stories where this gets really awkward. Like, there was a story that really exemplifies this. A girl was online shopping, and Target started targeting ads towards her that have to do with pregnancy.
For like baby stuff.
For baby stuff.
I've heard
of this. 16. Yeah. Well, her dad, and that includes sending coupons to you, by the way. So her dad got these coupons, and it was addressed to her name, and was like, why is this?
Oh, yeah, like in the mail, right?
In the
mail.
Actual mail.
In
the actual mail. And he was really mad, and she got outed as pregnant before she was ready to tell her dad.
She was actually wasn't it like she didn't even know she was pregnant? Or I don't know. Maybe I can't. Maybe remember. She knew but didn't tell anybody yet, or something she didn't even know herself. It could have been exaggerated thanks to online stuff.
Yay, Facebook again. But yeah, so...
Good example there, though, at least, because it's like, exactly what I'm talking about. They were able to see what kind of stuff... And it was not even like... I don't think she was even looking directly at baby stuff. It was just...
It was stuff that pregnant women buy in the early stages of pregnancy.
Yeah, and I don't know, she just fit the demographics things. Or whatever.
Yeah.
And
she got caught in the pool of the demographic pool, and they sent her coupons. Obviously, her dad was ticked.
He full on called a Target store or something like that and complained, and then I guess later called back and was like, "I apologize." Yeah. Turns out my daughter actually is pregnant or something like that. Oh man.
Oh gosh, wouldn't you love to be that employee though? Hey, I'm so mad at you. You sent coupons to my daughter that have to do with pregnancy. Well, if I'm the manager of that store, I didn't do that.
Yeah, that was just Target's algorithms that work.
Yeah. So based on Facebook. In one study, could actually figure out. And I don't have a source for this, so forgive me.
Halfassed.
Facebook could actually figure out if a relationship was going to end before it ended, just based on its algorithm, and it based it on is this person as happy in their posts as they usually are? Are they talking to other people? are that, just all those things together, Facebook could accurately predict 94% of the time, I believe. Half-assed. 94% of the time when a relationship was about to end before it ever did.
Okay.
Isn't that creepy?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're looking at all these algorithms. We're looking at everything. Quentin has to do something. Okay. Pause. Okay, back on.
You were talking about algorithms and
yeah,
Facebook is able to predict when
Facebook is able to predict that. Now, if that's true, imagine how many other things Facebook can predict. They could figure out people. They could probably figure out people's, basically a whole profile of a person that we don't even post on there. Our sexual orientation, our gender, duh. I mean, they can get a whole profile on us, but the scary thing for me is, because with these companies, yes, it's kind of scary. They're big companies, blah, blah, blah. But we consent to them having the data. The part that really scares me is when the government gets the data. Because I didn't really consent for the government to get my data. I don't consent for what the government uses my data for. All these things make me kind of nervous.
Supposedly not even 50 miles away from where we currently are, Camp Williams has a building or something devoted just for that. It downloads the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Like all of it, apparently. Supposedly. I don't know for sure, but supposedly downloads all the internet, which is insane, by the way. We're talking like petabytes of material. Anyway, but it apparently can do that. So yeah, that's ties into what you're talking about there.
And we have an NSA building in Lehigh as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right. You can actually see it from my parents' house. There's the NSA building over there. That's used to spy on, or whatever the NSA does. Ask Edward Snowden. But yeah, it just kind of makes me nervous. And now, obviously, there's the old adage, if there's nothing to hide, then why are you so worried? Well, it's because, first of all, you don't have to have things to hide for it to be dangerous. For people that may not like you to come up with a reason to, look at your data. We've seen political enemies do this all the time.
Well, how about just simply, like, we all make mistakes, so this is the thing, I might rant just a little bit here. Please. This is something I don't like about, like, anytime there's a politician trying to get into office or re-elect or something, suddenly all this crap surfaces from possibly even decades ago about something they may or may not have done. And then since there's so many people out there, like, who knows if it's really true or not. Like, you could just say, you could accuse anybody of almost anything, and it can erupt into a big, huge thing, whether it really happened or not.
Oh, yeah.
And then even if it really happened, like, I don't know, do you really want this guy who drinks in office? I mean, that's kind of an understatement. Now it's like more like, oh, he raped me or something. But
yeah.
But no, seriously. So rape was one thing. I'm going to set that aside, though. I'm talking more general stuff because I've seen accusations over really dumb things like, oh, he's not family oriented or something like that.
He's not family oriented. He cheated on his wife. He did this. He smoked pot. He did drugs. He did alcohol when he said he wouldn't. He kissed a dude. I don't know.
Maybe somebody tried weed when they were in college.
Yeah.
Big deal. I mean, maybe in Utah it is, but like big deal elsewhere, like, even if, especially if it's just the one time, especially if, we're all curious animals. We're all going to want to, we're curious. We kind of want to know what it is,
We want to experience new things. We want to try new things. It's like that old phrase, hindsight is 20/20. It's really easy to look back and go, I shouldn't have done that. Here's what I should have done in the first place. Well, that's great. But
yeah, but back in the day, you might have not known better. You might have not, realized what kind of consequences that might have down the road. I'm sure if this guy was like, if he was 20 or whatever when this was going on, and he knew he was going to have this issue down the road, he probably wouldn't have done it, or been more careful to make sure that accusation or whatever didn't happen. But
basically what we're saying is that I know, or at least I personally know, there's a 5-year-old somewhere in this country that will not be elected to public office because of something he's doing online right now. And I know that sounds really stupid and sounds like I'm joking, But with the state, well, first of all, with the state of our politics, how everything's become so freaking polarized, and as well as people just coming up with accusations left and right, unverifiable ones that just demean a person's character. With all the stuff going on the internet now,
Here's the thing, nobody...
everything's on record.
Yeah, but here's the thing, nobody is perfect. Nobody. Mm-hmm. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has been like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But then, because, like, everything is, like, public record now, like, you can easily go on trial for that, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And it could be over something that, like, most people might make the same mistake anyway. But it's like, oh, he's not perfect, we can't have him in an office or something like that. Or just in general, like, let's judge this person because they did this one thing this one time many years ago. Honestly,
it's not just politics. People have lost their jobs in corporate America because of something they said 20 years ago.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, I can imagine, so there was a security guard that just YouTubed a lot of what he did at work. Mm-hmm. He eventually got fired but that's because he was not doing his job while he wasn't doing his job.
I can't even remember what the video was, but it got them all fired. It was Del Taco workers. I think they were just not washing their hands or something. I don't know. They were doing something gross, but it's freaking Taco Bell, so who cares?
I still understand your point, though. Like, you may have, and it could be something you might have done before you even had that job, but then you get you into trouble, and it's like, it's said and done. Like, yes, it happened before, but, like, forgive and forget. That used to kind of actually be a saying. Mm. And does this mean that every little thing about you should be concealed or private? I mean, obviously, I get the idea that, like, if you're trusting this person to run your country or run something, or you're trusting this person to take a huge responsibility over something. Mm-hmm. I can kind of understand why you'd want to make sure that he is, knows what he's doing, is smart, kind of want, the less mistakes he's made in his, or her, I guess, in in their past, the better. But I mean, I think that should only apply to some degree. At some point, and I don't know really where to draw the line, but at some point you got to be like, nobody's perfect.
Yeah. For me, the big deal is, can he or she do the job? And that extends past politics to even corporate America, to if you're hiring someone, can they do the job that you're going to pay them to do? Exactly. Without getting in the way, without their personal issues getting in the way, without whatever. So, I mean, if they can do the job, then, look past their past sins if you can. And,
One example I can think of, I guess back when Trump went into office, I kind of brought up the idea that, like, okay, maybe Trump would be good for jump-starting the economy and stuff, because he is the CEO of a big business. He, and very successful, and at that, And somebody brought up, well, he's, filed for bankruptcy. Can't remember how many times they said.
7.
7? He's filed for, really, 7.
Yeah, people say 4 or 6 times. 7 was a little dramatic. I apologize.
Generally speaking, the point is that they brought up is like, well, he's filed for bankruptcy several times. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't do very good. I felt like they kind of got me there at the time. But later I was thinking, well, he's also come back from bankruptcy several times.
Yeah.
So I would say he knows what he's... Okay, well, no, I don't think I'll go as far as he knows what he's doing, but I think he has a pretty good idea as to what he's doing financially.
We should do a whole Trump episode.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
That'd be a great idea. A whole Trump episode, and then that could kind of tie into a political episode.
Geez, that'd be an interesting one for sure. Basically, like, somebody made a mistake, but that mistake might have helped them learn something. Mm-hmm. The whole term "learning from our mistakes" is a very true concept. And I think if the more perfect you are, arguably the less you know about, just the less wisdom you have in general. Mm-hmm. To a degree, I think if you've made a mistake, you could actually know more or be more experienced with something.
The problem is that it's harder to do that, harder to forgive and forget, harder to accept people's past mistakes when they are public record. When someone always has a record of them, can always look back. Exactly. And I think that's the point, is that we got to be able to have some sort of privacy and have some sort of, hey, I made a mistake. I understand that, but let's not keep rehashing it.
Hopefully I caught that last word there. Okay, well, we're good.
So I think that's what's important. I mean, going back to kind of privacy, I mean, there's some scary things that hackers can do to your computer, and that's why you gotta stay vigilant. You know, just do basic stuff. Keep a firewall up, anti-malware stuff.
Don't download crap.
Don't download porn.
No, I would not even just porn. Don't
download it.
Don't. Different story, I guess. That could be a whole podcast.
That could be a whole podcast episode.
That could be a very interesting podcast as well. Effects of porn or whatever. Mm-hmm. Arguments on porn.
Best type of porn. I mean, what?
Damn it! I lost my train of thought. I can't think about porn. It's not so much like you download a porn file and then it has a virus embedded in it. It's actually not so much that. I mean, yes, that is a thing. That comes more from like you're downloading a torrent where you download a big chunk, basically a package of files, all in one go, and then you open that up. Or a zip file, you extract that, and it extracts the virus. Or what was the other one? I think the most common one though is just when you download a program in general, and it could be actually a pretty harmless and well-known program, but in the setup, in the installation process, a lot of people, I would say, just click next, like as fast as they possibly can because they just want to install the program. And let's just skip through all the, because, just clicking next will get it installed, basically. At some point in those steps, there is a checkbox that says, also install this add-on to my web browser or something like that. And that's the thing. You got to watch for that checkbox and uncheck it when you get to that. That's why you got to just take your time setting up stuff. As somebody who fixes a lot of computers because of this exact issue, just read through the steps in your installation progress when you're installing a program, and look for that checkbox that says also install this other program, and just uncheck it. Yep, just uncheck it, and you're good. Like a lot of times, that's just what it is. I guess another thing I want to touch on with the whole privacy thing is okay, so I forget what it's called, deep learning,
deep web.
No. Basically, it's the software that Facebook uses and has developed to recognize your face in pretty much any photo. Now, I actually feel both ways about this. Both I like it and I don't like it. I really don't like it because, let's face it, everybody takes a dang photo now, and I'm just kind of that antisocial person who doesn't like my photo being taken without my consent. But that happens a lot at like relatives or family parties and crap like that, or just out in public, somebody's filming or recording or taking a picture or whatever, you could easily get in the background of a picture. So I mean it's really hard to avoid that, but Facebook can find your face in that photo and suggest to tag you in it to that person or something like that. But at the same time, we probably all know the term catfishing. If you don't, this is somebody. It probably happens the most on dating websites where somebody pretends to be somebody else. So they'll take a photo or a bunch of photos from somebody's profile or something and pretend to be that person, or just some, not that exact person. Like they stole Mike's photos, but they're pretending to be Paul or something like that. They're not trying to impersonate Mike, who's the person in the actual photos, but they're pretending to be some made up person, and they're using Mike's photos to look that way. I mean, if you're hiding yourself in that way and trying to like talk to other people, especially on dating websites, it just doesn't seem like that can be good. Anyway, technology like that allows your face to be tied to your account, which, especially if you can verify in a very good way that that's actually you, then that way that software can actually find those photos on that dating website, and if it's happens to be you, it could potentially alert you, be like, hey, is this actually you on this website? And if it was actually able to do that, that'd be really cool, because I would definitely want to know. If I doubt it's happening because I'm not that attractive, but if so, I would definitely want to know if somebody was using my pictures and possibly videos of me on a different website and trying to, whether they're impersonating me or not. I'd hate them trying to catfish somebody using my material.
Have you actually ever Googled yourself?
Yes, and I don't like the results.
Does it come up with you?
Yeah. I don't think it comes up with my exact Facebook page. Well, maybe it does, but
Mine did.
it comes up with a few videos from my high school, and I don't. Yeah.
Mine came up with me as an Eagle Scout, which is weird because I wasn't in a newspaper. I don't know how I got that photo. Like, I did images, not just, not web pages. Yeah, but it came up with me throughout my entire life, my family, my little sister, which is weird because, well, I guess it's not that weird. We are related. But, yeah, came up with my little sister, my parents. I mean, you get a name, you can find a person pretty dang easily.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. On a good note, if I look up your name, our podcast comes up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. You, on the other hand, are not on here at all.
Pretty sure. Yeah, that's Quint from Jaws.
Oh, yeah?
That's the only other person I know in existence, even though he's a fictional character, that has the same name as me.
Sorry. Hi. Off topic.
Harrison, what can we take home from this?
Take home, don't do dumb things on the internet. Keep your privacy as private as you can, but understand you really don't have privacy in the digital world. Also, fear Big Brother.
Fear Big Brother. I guess mostly just be aware of the world that you live in. Understand that if you put something online, it can easily never come offline.
Yep.
Despite even if you lived in Europe and you wanted to erase yourself, because viral videos, you know how that works. Somebody who originally uploads that video, it goes viral and maybe it's inappropriate or something and it gets taken down. But before it gets taken down, other people have copied it and have posted it elsewhere. And on other places that may not care to take it down or whatever, it could just, who knows, even if it really did get completely off the internet, somebody could easily still have it stored on their personal computer somewhere. It's just that you just can never have that 100% certainty that is gone. So I guess just be aware that if you post something online, it's pretty much there forever.
Oh, yeah.
Going back to my dad, I think it is possible to kind of live off the grid, so to speak, and not really have an online presence, because I'm pretty sure I Googled his name too, and there really wasn't much other than I don't know, the Yellow Pages reference to him, or some website advertising that they could find a background check on my dad if I paid them or something like that. To be a digital hermit basically is what my dad is. He's already a pretty good actual hermit. He's definitely a really good digital hermit, but it definitely comes at a price. I mean, obviously we have so much less privacy because we agreed to have less privacy because we wanted to post so much about our lives and feel like that we're important and get the likes and stuff and all that stuff, which is half the reason why I make these podcasts.
Irony.
I think that's about all we have to say about that.
I think so too.
Anyway,
thanks so much for listening to the Half-Assed listening or watching. We're on YouTube now.
Yeah, if you're watching.
Half-Assed Approach Podcast. We're on Twitter at halfassedpod, facebook.com/halfassedpod. If you want to throw a few bucks our way, it's patreon.com/halfassed. Or listen to us. We're on Spotify, Half-Assed Approach Podcast, or anchor.fm/halfassed. We're on Spotify, Radio Public, Google Podcast, Breaker, Pocket Cast, or the one I use, which is Castbox. Anything else? I kind of just took over the closing.
No,
there.
You did very well.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching and listening, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, have a good one.
Merry Christmas.